Great. So welcome everybody for the session 2 for Education for Technology Literacy and Inclusion program as part of European Union and Erasmus. So today we'll be going forward from what we learned yesterday. And to start with today's class, I will again request everybody to download the file that has been shared to you on the MS Teams chat option. You can click on the file and download the file. I'm putting it in the chat once again, and I will share my screen to show you where we are beginning for today. Yes. Yes, I hope my screen is visible to everybody. Please also make use of the chat feature so that I can see in case there are any doubts or anything that you want to communicate. This way, it will be better for all the participants to learn and also practice simultaneously.
Sorry,
Yes,
they have to download the file. That's it?
yes.
Okay.
I've shared it in the chat also. Yes, and I'll start again sharing my screen. So today, while we begin, before we move on to the first topic, these are the topics which we'll be covering today. And yeah, this is where we begin. So the first thing that we'll be talking today is about concatenate function of Excel. So what does concatenate mean? Meanwhile, I'll also zoom in case you're not able to see as the feedback that I received. Yes, I hope it's better visible now.
Better. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, yes. So what basically concatenate does, it joins two different cells. So I'll show you how. So I go here, I press an is equal to, I type the command concatenate, I press, I select this cell, comma, and I select this cell, and I close. And I see that both the cells are now connected. So this is where we know that this is first name of a person, and this is last name of a person. So a lot of times we collect data with first name and last name, but to see the entire full name of the person, we need to connect those two cells. And to connect individually to all the names, it's a very tough task and it takes a lot of time. So if you notice, there is one flaw in this. So the flaw is that the names are together. There is no space. So I can also add space to it. I'll show you how. Now in concatenate, after this comma, I can put a space, inverted commas open, space, inverted commas close, comma. So now, as you can see, now I have space between the name of the person. And on a lot of times, what I have personally seen, the data that we receive, sometimes we need to add an email ID to it. So, for example, in my university, my email ID is was as per my roll number. So, for example, this was my roll number. All right, and my university used to use this as its um, email ID, but yeah. So that search is just not taking it because it's an at the rate. But let me say iitb.ac.in. So I need to add an email ID to it. So for example, again, I go to concatenate, write this function, I select this cell, again a comma, and again, I can put an inverted commas open, close, and again, I select this cell and I close it. And over here, I can create an email ID out of it. Or as per how I want to mix two different cells, the way I combine it, it can make my work easier in terms of making sure that the the two cells, it can run with any kind of cells. This is I used it for the first name and the last name. Similarly, you can apply it anywhere. It's just that it helps to connect different cells. Any doubts in this? Meanwhile, I'll show here this one as well. Concatenate.
Now it is clear. Thank you. Yeah, concatenate.
Yes. I did not put a comma here. Yes. Yeah. So now next, I'll move on to this part. So, can anybody guess what lower and upper means in Excel? You can type it in the chat as well. Okay. So I'll just tell here. So what lower and upper means, it is just simply lowercase and uppercase. So for example, as you can notice, this is a name of a person, Smith, Mike, Johnson, Matthew, Williams, Brown, Sandra. So it is in uppercase, which is capitals, and which is in lowercase. So what I can do here, if I want to make it uniform, I press an is equal to, and I use the formula lower. I go for it lower, and I select the cell and I close it. And now you see it is all uniform. It is now in lowercase. And for all the names, it has come to lowercase. So I don't have to type each and every person's name. It can easily make my work very quick and very easy. Similarly, over here, if I come and if I,
Can you please repeat again?
yes, yes. So is equal to lower.
Okay.
Now I have lower. Now I select the cell and then I close the cell. So in the Smith Mike, in the name Smith Mike, Smith is in capital and Mike is first letter is capital, all the letters are small. Then I press enter. So now the entire name is in small letters.
And can you somehow put the first word,
Letter,
the first letter in capital letter and rest
yes,
in lower?
yes, that's a very good question. I'll be coming to that after I go for upper. Yes. So moving on, similarly, what upper means is uppercase, which is capitals. So if I want to have capital letters in a particular for a particular list of names, I go is equal to upper. I select the cell and I close the cell and then I press enter. So now, as you can see, the entire name is in capital, and I can make it for all. Now, as the question was asked, this is something which is very useful when you're working with large data sets of names of people or places of names of places, names of other things which needs to have first letters capital. So again, is equal to, now the formula for this is proper. So we write proper, then I select the cell. Now you'll notice the first letter is automatically capital and the second letter, the names. So for through this, I can easily, if the letters are not in synchronization, I can put them in synchronization and I don't have to put first letter of all the names in capital individually. This will make all of them in first letters capital automatically. The formula for it is proper. I'll increase the size. Yes. Any doubts here? Did all of you try? Did you try putting it in your file as well?
Yes, but in the Spanish version, Baxis, sorry,
Mm-hmm.
upper is like mayusc
Majusk. Okay.
and lower minusc. Yes.
Okay. Is it working for you also?
Yeah, but not with upper and lower.
Okay. Okay, but it is working, right?
Sorry?
It is working, right? It works for you also in MyUSC.
Yes. Mayusk, minusk, yes.
Can I repeat concatenate? Okay, I'll repeat concatenate. So again, let me write a name. For example, Hussein and bold. So these two names are separate right now. First name and last name. Now I want to combine these names. So I write here full name and I want to combine it is equal to concatenate. I'll type concatenate in the chat also in case this is the formula. I've written it in the chat. And now what I do, I select this cell D8, I press comma, then I select the other cell and then I put brackets close and then I put enter. Now the name has come here. Now one error in this is that there is no space between Usain and Bolt. So for example, I need to now, so now I just need to I need to press inverted commas open, space, inverted commas close and comma. And now I close it. Then there is gap between the two. So I'm telling Excel that in between I want gap. If I want to write something in between, I can also do that. Let me write mm, hello, for example. Now it will also show me Usain hello Bolt. Similarly, I can write anything between the two names, first name and last name, and it will take it. Similarly, if I want to say, for example, add an email ID, like I was telling you, this is something which I really found very useful for when I work with the large data sets and email IDs are need to be added. So if everybody have a uniform email ID, so I can, for example, put here at the rate um, anything at the rate gmail.com, close. Now it becomes an email ID and it becomes easier to handle like this. Yeah, great. Moving on, so this is the concatenate and the naming functions. So anybody has any doubts in this upper, lower, proper, and concatenate?
Maybe, Patricia, you can tell in Spanish how proper is. How does proper? Propio, maybe.
I am searching for it. I will write down in the chat.
I think some students have written in the chat. It's norm proprio. Thank you, Lara. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Lander, for being active and sharing in the chat. And can also somebody confirm my is the text also visible? What I'm speaking, the text, live captions. Okay, we'll move forward. Now we'll move to the next section, which is about, yes. So the next section is about, so these are some count functions here. Yes. So these are some basic statistical, not mathematical, but in terms of you can also use it in maths. But my focus is to help you understand the count part of it, count part of statistics. So can anybody guess what count means? What would be the difference between just the meaning of the word count function in Excel. We have heard of sum. Sum is there, but sum and count are not the same. They are different. Any random guess?
Count is the number of the serial number, no? How many of them, no?
So count is the number of cells. So serial number, yes, it is similar to that, but it is not, it is only for the selected file. So for example, if I need to, so this is a very basic data that I have here of the names of person and the sales that they did. So if I want to have a count of it, I go and is equal to, I press count, and again I give my this as my range. So now Excel will not sum all of these numbers. Excel will tell me how many are these. These are 9. So Excel is telling me it is 9. Now, if I now need to use, there's another function in Excel called count A. So count A is for all the cells which are not empty, as you can see. And I'll zoom in also so that you can, it's visible. Yes. Hmm. So as you can see, so count A function is about all the cells which are not empty. So now if I say count A, because this is, we are using only a small data set here, but if the data set is bigger, then it is very useful to find blank values. If there is null values, then how we find it? So count A, it gives me 9 because it only counts the num values which are filled. Now, if I change it here and I change it from this to, and if I select a larger value, for example, if I select this and this, now the number stays the same because it is the parallel value of it. But the moment I shift it to this, yes, yeah. Mm, yeah, so as you can see, because none of these are empty, it gives me the exact number of the count that I want. Yeah. Now, this is again another function which is very useful for large data sets, count blank. This only counts the blank values. Count blank. Now, now if I sum up this, it will give me answer as 0. Why? Because all of them are filled. But if I expand it to this, because it's the parallel value, it gave me that. But if I change it and expand it to this, the value has increased. So it only counts blank. This is very useful for large data sets. When you have Excel sheets of thousands and thousands of data points, then you can figure out which are the blank values directly with something with a function like this. Yeah. So now I'll go all of us know the sum function, but some of you may not be knowing the sum if function. So sum if function is sum. So let me do the sum here. For example, over here I'll do a sum. So now I have a sum of this $2,400. Okay. Now I do a sum if. So sum if is I give a range first. This is my range. And after that, as you can see, I give a criteria. So it will only sum if I give a based on the criteria. So if I give a criteria, sum if less than 500. This needs to come in inverted commas. Yeah. So as you can see now, Excel is only summing all the values which are less than 500. So for example, total sum is 2400, but for this sum is 1200. Similarly, if I change this to sum if only if less than 300, now it's 900 because I've told Excel to sum only if the value is less than the amount, 300, for example, here. I can change it to 600. Now it's giving me 700. Yes. And yeah, that's how it can help me understand this. And any doubt still here? Anybody facing any problem still here?
Perfect.
Great. So moving on, now we will do COUNTIF function. So if I say COUNTIF, so COUNTIF is also, this is also very useful again for large data sets. So for example, now I see that there are some people who have done $100, some people who have done 200, 100, 300. So COUNTIF is that only if that is the value, a particular value. So if I say COUNTIF 100, it will tell me how many hundreds are here. Three. It told me one chin, one from dawn, and one another from dawn. So Excel told me the number of times 100 has appeared. Similarly, if I do 200, again 200 is also appeared three times. Once, twice, and thrice. So it will tell me as per the number of the repetitions, the frequency I can find through this COUNTIF. And similarly, average condition. So if I say average we all know what average if is. I give it this range, and I give a condition that average if only for values which are less than 500. Again, I need to put it in inverted commas. Yes. So now it gives me that. If I do a general average, it will give me a different value, 267. But if I say average only for less than 500, it gives me a different value. So these are conditional averages, which is very useful when we are using it. And yes, so this formulas we applied right now on numbers. These formulas can also be applied on alphabets, on letters. So for example, so this is just the difference part of it, that count A, what count A does and what sum does. Sum adds all the numbers. Count A cells which are counts the cells which are not empty. And similarly, this is just a differentiation of it to help you understand. Any doubts from this part or the previous part? Any doubts that you have from lower, concatenate, proper, or the count functions here? Conditional counting, conditional sum, and conditional average. Great. So I think everybody is able to understand. So we can move to this part, which is conditional formatting. Conditional formatting is something which I'll show you first on a small data set, and then we'll move to a bigger data set. So this is data set for, I'll also give full forms for these. This stands for English, business. Now over here, I'll use one more small function of Excel, which will help you do your work quickly. So in case if you have heard of the term find and replace. So for example, if I do a control F, so you can see, so over here, I intentionally use the word eco. Eco, when I say eco, I mean economics. So I want to replace, there are many eco words there. I want to replace them. So there is an option through control F. I'll give you this thing shortcut here, control F. So through control F, you will have this window. And if I say it find eco and replace it with economics. So at once, I can replace all the eco. So now, as you can see, Excel replaced all of them. This is find and replace function of Excel. And it's very useful when, again, you're working with data sets. So you don't have to do for each and every file. Again, I'll do it for ENG, which I'll share as English. and I replace all of them. Similarly for BK, I'll say as business and IT as information technology. So this made my task easier. I did not have to replace each and every word. I replaced all of them at once. Now I'll do conditional formatting. So conditional formatting is I give a condition to my Excel and it will change the colors as per my condition. So if I say give a condition here, I hope you need to come to the home tab and from there it's okay if anybody has doubt. No. Okay.
Sorry, but sorry, can you
Yes.
repeat the first thing in this sheet with
Sure.
the to replace the economics and eco?
Yes, I'll repeat it.
How do you,
So,
how have you done that?
sure. So what I did, I just used the find and replace function, which is through Control and F, pressing Control plus F. And if it's a MacBook, you can plus Command plus F function. It's a find
Can
function.
everybody mute?
Hello? Yes. Yeah. So now, once you see this window, there's an option of replace here. There's an option of find, there's an option of replace. So earlier, it was written in the file, eco was written instead of economics, which was short form of eco, which I intentionally wrote to show. So for example, now I write here economics, and I want to replace it with eco. And there are six times that it is used. I want to replace it with eco. So now there's an option here called replace all at the bottom left, as you can see the screen. I'll, yeah, now I press here. Now the file, all the files, everywhere where economics was written, it is replaced by eco, a small, a short form of it. So similarly, now if I say Excel, find eco and replace it with economics, it will replace for all the files and I don't have to individually replace them. So it saves my time to replace each and every file again and again. Yes, so this is how I've replaced them. I hope it was easy to understand now. Yes.
Okay, thank
Yeah. So moving on. So now what I'll do, I'll apply a conditional formatting here. So there's, if you just go to the home option and on the top of it, there's an option for conditional formatting where there are options, highlight rules, top 10, data bars, color scales, etc. So now on the highlight, I'll go to a greater than. So over here, the number that I put here. So for example, if I say 50, greater than 50, I want to give a green color. And if I go OK, right. Hmm. So if I first, so like I go green for everybody who has scored more than 70. So right now it is taking names as well, but it will not if we select the entire cell. So let me just do it on the numbers. So if I do it here and go conditional formatting, greater than, I say greater than 70 or greater than 80 with green. So it will automatically show me those people with green. Now, if I again create a range here, highlight cells which are in between 50 and 79 as yellow. Similarly, now I want to do it for everybody with less than 49 with this color. So this way, now if you're working on data, through the coloring of data through this conditional formatting, you can easily understand how we can visualize colors in an easier way, and we're able to see how we can use this in our daily work in terms of for any business sheets or any assignments or anything. So this can make lives of the reader very easy. Similarly, if I can apply the same formula here, greater than 80 as green, in between 50 and 79 as yellow, and similarly less than 49 as red. So again, you can see. So this conditional formatting, if again it's used on a large data set, I'll be doing it on a large data set as well. It will make the understanding of the Excel sheet very easy for the reader. So before I move on, this is because this is sometimes a little confusing. Anybody has any doubts here? Okay. Is the window visible? Somebody wrote in the chat, window is not visible. Okay. I'll reshare once more. Okay. Yes. So, yes. Is it visible now? Yes, I'll repeat it. Is the window visible now? Excel window?
Yes, yes.
Great, great, great. So I'll do it again. So first step is select a particular area. So I selected this area from B to E, B11 to E14. So I selected this part and I'll zoom in also so that you can see. Yes. So this is names of students and this is subjects. And I'll use wrap text here. Yes. So now what I will do, I will select this part. On the home option, there's an option of conditional formatting at the top. I hope it's visible. I go here. There are different rules here, different criterias. So now in this, I will start with the students who have secured the highest marks as numbers. So I go here and I put that any value greater than 80 is marked as green and I do OK here. Then again, I select values in between and I go between 50 and 79 as yellow. And similarly, I go for values less than 49 as red. And yes, so now you have the low marks in red, the average marks between 50 and 80 as yellow, and marks more than 80 as green, highlighted in green. So this way, it is much easy to look at a data, and if you're submitting your assignments or if you're working on business work, so you can color code your numbers. So
You are muted.
yeah, yeah. Is it better?
Yep. No?
Mm, yeah,
Now we can hear you.
yeah. You can hear me, right? So any doubt here? Anybody who's facing problem to do did you try yourself? Please.
You are muted, Baxis.
Yeah. Am I audible now? Yes.
Yes. No? Now?
Yeah. Now I think it's so basically, unless you try yourself, it will be difficult to understand. I'll repeat it once more. So first step, select the cells that you want, then go to conditional formatting, put the condition of greater than, and I say greater than 80, marked as green. Similarly, I say less than as red, and then similarly I go for between 50 and 79 to be in yellow, and here it is again. So it is just conditions that we put. Also one more thing, so this is something that I just did on numbers. This is also something that you can even do on text. For example, there are repeating text here. If I say, if I select this and I say I want to apply it to a text, so I say text, and if I say this text contains this, and I can do it in custom also. So if I want to change the fill, I want to have this color, and yes, and I say okay. So now as you can see, I've given a color to economics. Economics will now come in this color. Similarly, I can give a color to the text also. So this is useful not just for numbers, but also for text. Now, if I say it for English and I want to again do it custom, I go to custom and I go to fill, and over here I change the color to red. And yeah, so as you can see, it has turned red. Similarly, I can do it for all the subjects. So it is something which is applicable to both numbers and to text. So both kind of files. So similarly, quickly, let me give it this. And yes, any doubt here?
No, but it's very useful tool for make analysis.
Yes, especially for uh, in teaching.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, so this is how I've colored this with the conditional formatting. And yes, so in case there are no doubts here, I'll move on to the next section. So as we discussed today, we did conditional formatting. We also did concatenate. Now I'll teach something which is flash fill, which is very useful again for large data sets. So I'll use it with pivot data. So for example, I'll copy this data just for this. Yeah. So I'll copy this data here. Now, if I want to write something in front of somebody's name, for example, if I want to write happy birthday Suman, or let me do happy birthday Andra. Andre. Yes, so if I want to do this, now if I have to do it for all the names or any word that I want to write in front of all the names, it will take a lot of time. And I cannot even do it like a this. I cannot push it because then it will only push the common one. Now for this, the very simple way to do it is through date flash fill option. What flash fill means is you go to the data column of your Excel sheet, and once you have reached the data column, in the central area, there is something called as a flash fill. Now, if I press this flash fill, it will automatically change the names, and Excel will detect the names of the persons that are there in the previous sheet, and it will automatically change it like this. I hope it is visible and you're able to see what just happened. Any doubt is in this? I can repeat it. Relene rapido in Spanish. Can you extend the color of text to all similar text? Yes, that is also possible in conditional formatting. Releno rapido in Spanish version, no. I'm not sure what does relene rapido in Spanish means when everybody's typing no.
Sorry, it's a translation of flash fill. Relleno rápido. Fill is relleno.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yes.
All right, all right. Okay. So just in case if still anybody missed it, I'll repeat it once more. So if I want to write anything in front of any person, I want to write hello and I write Subhan. So I cannot do it otherwise. I go on the data tab. See, come on this part of the Excel on the data tab. There's an option flash fill and it can do it for all the values. Anything that you want to add and you just do it and it will take it. And similarly, I can also say this. Hopefully this should also work. Let me try. Yeah, see, if you have the name of the person and you want to add an email address, you can also do it like this. This is a flash fill version, feature of Excel. Yes. So if there are no doubts, we can move on. And I hope you're practicing while I'm doing. And if you have doubts, please unmute and ask me or type it in the chat. Hmm. So moving on. Now I will work on macros. So a lot of you may not have heard macro before, and macro is something which can literally simplify a lot of things if you are working on multiple Excel sheets. I'll tell you how. So can someone tell me what is the problem of this Excel sheet? I mean, is it good, bad, anything that you feel about it? Why is this not a good Excel sheet?
Because it's not order.
Yes, because it is not ordered. Thank you for that. So, for example, think that, if you have to do the same ordering every day you need to do the same task of ordering it again and again. So, how would you like, how would you feel doing the same task every day? This is where macros can save you. How it will save you, I'll just show you. So, for example, let me copy this sheet before and keep it with me. So because the sheet is not well ordered, what I will do, I'll use the macro feature. What macro feature is, so I go to the view option, come to the view option of Excel, and after coming to view, now on the right side, there's an option called macros. So what macro basically is, macro is where Excel will record everything that all the things that you do in terms of the functions that you make. So if, for example, if I put this in central, if I put this centralized, Excel will record it. Similarly, if I correct, because this is it is not ordered, it doesn't look good right now. But if I have to do it every day, it is a very time consuming task because every day then I will have to do the same thing. Macro will record it. So I'll also write here. Macros is equal to recording different activities performed on Excel sheet to be used later. Yes. So I'll show you what macro now I can use it. So I go to view, I go to macros. There's an option of view macros and record macros. View is for if I have done any macros before, but I'll go to record macros. I press record macro. I give a name to my macro. Let me give it ET4LI session 2, and I am saying store it in this workbook, and I say okay. I cannot have a number here, so yeah, I cannot use 4 here. Yeah, okay. And it does not want anything. Wait, ETLI. Okay. Now my recording has started. So whatever I will do, it will be saved. So now I will first put this in order. What I will do, I will put it like this. For departments, I would like to put it like this. Names, I also want names to be like this. And the employee, the date of birth, this is also put like this, which is wrong. I will change this. I will go to this part and I'll change it to date. And now the dates are there. It was earlier not visible. Now I have dates. Now I have rates per hour. And all of this information I have. Now I have arranged it. Now what will I go? I will go to macros. I will go to stop recording. I'll stop the recording. Now this recording is saved. As you can see, this name session is ETLI, recording is saved. Now I want to do the same thing to my next sheet, the sheet that I copied here. So what I do, I go to macros, I go to view macro, I go here and I go run. All of this is done. I don't have to repeat it again. Excel just all the activities that I did, Excel recorded it and it did it again. And yes, so this is something which can save a lot of your time if you have if you need to do same activity on your Excel sheet every day. So this can save a lot of time. Once this function is recorded, it can run again, and every morning or every week, if you have to run it, it can save a lot of your time. So it might have been a little complex, but if any of you have any doubts, please tell me. Okay, I'll repeat. So again, so now it is ordered. I will change it. I'll make it a little unordered. I'll put it like, let me do this and this and this and this. And this part was not even in the numbers. Again, like I said today, yes, last time numbers. Yes, so none of it is now arranged in a good order. It is all very um, chaotic. I'll repeat this once again, and please just look at the basic steps that I do. So first, I go to the View tab. In the View tab, on the top right side, there's an option called Macros here. In the macros, I press here and I'll say Record Macro. And I give it a name. I give it a name, ETLI 2, if it takes this name. Yeah, it does not take a number in it. Let me say ETLI space. Yes, ETLII. So now everything that I will do here, it is recorded by Excel. So for example, first I correct this. I want this to be in center aligned, center aligned. I want to change this to right aligned. And I want to change the names to be center aligned. And similarly, building, this is not aligned. I come here and I do a left align here. And similarly, date of births are not there. So now I'll select the date of births and I will go to number, Here I'll go to date. Earlier it was general. I will change it to date. Date is where date of birth. I get date of birth. I can choose whichever option. This is month, date, and year. This is day, month, date, and year. I'll change it to that. Now it comes in this and I expand it. And now exact dates of people are visible. And I want to have it like this. And I want to, this is all that I want to do. I go to macros here again and I press stop recording. And once I stop recording, so this is now stored. Now, if I want to do this, for example, on this sheet, so in this sheet, the date of birth is in this format, date, month, date, and year. Now, if I apply a macro here, now I'll go to, again, go to data, view, go to view, in view, go to view macros on the top right side. I see all the macro. I go to ETL double I for identification and I tell Excel to run it and I run it. So again, it has done the basic analysis, basic function that I wanted it to. Yes. Any doubts here? It has just done the date like this, but this is something which can directly be converted from here. Yeah. And I have it again like this. So this function can really save a lot of your time if you practice it. Because if you have to do repeat, if you need to repeat activities on your Excel file, you can save it as a recording and it will repeat all the tasks for you for your Excel sheets. Great. So we've covered quite a lot today. So, and I think we are running good with time also. We have full 30 minutes to go and we have now we are only left with pivot tables. And yes, any before we start pivot tables, because we've covered a lot of things, I wanted to do conditional formatting on a large database. So I have a large database with me. Yes, the database that I was showing. Yeah. So for example, I did conditional formatting with you, and now further I wanted, because now we have done sort feature, we have done filter feature yesterday, and we have done conditional formatting also. And for example, I want to focus on this particular variable, which is access to electricity percentage of population. So if I want to do this, can somebody from some representative from any part among the participants, anybody can tell me how do I ensure that I can find the data for the year 2020 for your country? I'll show the data again. So this is the data. It has all the countries from Europe, Asia, America, everywhere. It has all the countries. Let me find Spain in that. I don't have to go to Spain individually. It's very easy to find it through the filter feature. Now I select this, I go to filter, I have the filter feature, I have the option, and I search here Spain. I have Spain with me. I unselect all and I only select Spain. Yeah. Now I have the 20 data for 20 years for Spain for every variable that I wanted to. So this way it is easier for me. So now I want to see for example, I want to see the energy, renewables percentage, primary energy. So I select this tab and I want to apply conditional formatting to it. and I say greater than 15. I say I want it with green. Yes. Similarly, I say that I want any value less than 14 as red. So now, so, so it is important to understand this because now I'm working with a big data set. So I can completely see how in 2000, after 2010, how Spain had more than 15% electricity from renewable energy. So similarly, I can do this analysis for any country and I can now remove the filter. And because we also have participants from Tajikistan, select Tajikistan. Yeah, right. So now I have data for Tajikistan. So the formula I applied, it conditional formatting, it did not go for that. Now there's an option. You can also clear rules. This is the option that I want to clear rule. If I do a clear rule, I'll see the files. Yeah. So this data is not available. Like, you remember I was telling you about why count blank is important. I'll show you how this is important for such large data sets. So now I have data for all the countries. Mm, I go here and yesterday we also learned about freeze panes. We'll freeze panes now so that we can see. Freeze panes, only the top row so that we can see. Now I go to the bottom and I want to check the blanks. So what I will do, I'll apply a count blank feature here, count blank, and I will say C2. So now one more small thing which is important to remember. So now I have 3600 rows. One way is that I open my bracket and I go to the top and I hold it like this till the bottom, which will again take a lot of time because this is a large data set. Earlier we were working with small data set. This is a large data set. So this will take a lot of time. What I will do, yeah, what I will do, I'll go to the bottom. It only selected till 100 sheets, but I want to do more than 100. I want to do entire, which is 3650. I select, so I press, I come, I select the feature count blank, bracket open. I press C. I give the number 2 because that is where the range start. This is range. Then I use the column, the one which we were discussing yesterday, and I give a range 3650. Now it is automatically selected. I was not required to scroll from top to bottom. I just gave a number and it gave it. Now I close it. So it told me there are 10 count blanks. Now I want to have to see which all variables don't have data, which means they are blank. So I apply this formula to the entire sheet and here I have. I'll highlight it as well. Yes. So now you can see which all variables have how many blanks, which means financial flow has 2000 blank files. Energy intensity has 200. Renewable percentage has 200, 2137 blank files. And similarly, I'll extend it here. This should not have blank files, but these just have one blank file. Okay. So this is how we can use count blank. And this is how, like I said, we don't have to always scroll from top to bottom. And this is how we can do a simple basic analysis of how, where the data is missing in which all variables. Yes. So now moving forward, I'll now unfreeze the panes. Hmm. Yes. Now what I will do again, I'll put a basic conditional formatting on the percentage values. So for example, renewable share in total final energy consumption. That how much of renewables and renewable energy is used in total energy consumption. I'll apply a formula to the entire sheet. Conditional formatting formula. Conditional formatting. And I say if it is greater than 75%, I say highlight it with green. If it is in between 50 and 74, highlight it with yellow. And if I say it should be for less than 49%, to highlight it with red. So now the entire data, I know where all the greens are, where all the, so yeah, yes, you can see these are all mostly in, yeah, now you can see like Bhutan is higher, slowly we'll have, yeah, Canada is also 0, Cayman is 0, sorry. Canada is around 21, Central Africa, Chad. Let's go to some of the European countries. Estonia. I'll freeze the right side pane so everybody can see. Um, yes, now you can see the countries. Hmm. For example, this is France, this is Gambia, this is Georgia. So this conditional formatting allows us to see, we look at the data in a much easier way. Yes. Any doubts here? Because earlier we were working with a very small data set. This is a huge data set. So that's why this is where these tools are very useful when you're working with these large data sets. Freeze immobilizer, freeze pane, yeah, with filter. What are you trying to ask, Lander?
I think he was answering a question.
With filter,
Oh,
with
yeah.
filter or without? So this can be done with or without filter. I can apply filter as well. So
Yes, searching for Spain, and yes, he answered.
yes. So let me also apply a filter here. If I want to have only data for 1 year, latest data, I go to filter here and apply a filter to anywhere I can apply. So I only select the year latest 2020 and now I have data for all the countries for the year 2020 and I can directly look at just that data. So again, very important when we are looking at the large data sets. Yes. So yeah, this can also be done with filter as you were asking. Mm, yes, now we can move to the next part in case nobody has doubts. So next we'll be working on pivot table, which is a very interesting and a very um, sometimes very useful tool. This is also something which we will use for our last class. So now I will have, yeah, so this is some data that I have. Hmm. So this is the data that I have. Now we are using the same sheet that I shared with you. And in case you're not able to find this sheet, it is there in the chat. I'll paste it once again. Mm, sheet with me. Yeah. Yes, I've shared the sheet once again because this is very important and very useful. Pivot tables. This we will use for creating dashboards as well. So now just come to the data, pivot data, and after reaching here, what we need to do is go to the option of insert. Yes, in the insert tab, you'll see the option there is recommended charts and then there is pivot chart. And I'll zoom in as well. Yes. So the data is just understand the data. So the data is about some employees, the department they're from, the region they're from, the branch they are from, and the date they were hired, and the salary. This is the basic data of some employees. Okay. Now I will apply a pivot chart to it. So I say pivot chart and pivot table. And yeah. So now it is asking me if I want to work on it on the same sheet or the next sheet. I will say I want to work it on a new worksheet. So it has automatically, so this is the range of the data. The data is from A1 to H101. So which is the entire data which automatically Excel has taken. And now I go on a new worksheet. So now, as you can see, Excel has automatically created a new sheet. And this sheet has the pivot table related details. So now, as you can see, I have these details. So be just very carefully see how the entire pivot table details are on the right side. It's very, just be very, be very observant here. So now I want to have, for example, department or last name. So these are the fields that I gave to Excel. And below that, there's option of filter, column, row, and values. Now, what I need to do here is drag any of the filters that I want as per the data that I need. For example, I need region in my columns. I drag it here, and now you see that the columns have automatically been created: east, north, west, east, west, north, south. Okay. Now I want to see the branch in rows. So now it has given me branch. And similarly, if I go, yes, or if I, instead of that, hmm. So now I have the data. Automatically, Excel is creating this data for me that in Agra, how much is the salary that I'm giving? Because why this is calculating it? Because in the values, I have given this sum of salaries. That's why it has automatically created this data for me. Now I have the data that in East, for example, in Calcutta, what is the sum of salary that I'm giving? If I change this and I add names of the person here in rows, so now it tells me in one city of India, for example, Agra, which all employees are there and what all salaries are they given. So this has automatically created a table, which if, for example, you are asked, I'll speak in context of Europe. So if in context of Europe, you have somebody who is working in Barcelona, somebody who is working in Madrid, somebody else working in another part of Spain, and they are all working in different regions with different salaries and different departments. For example, if I put department as my filter or department in my column, now it also gives me all the departments. Wait. Now it also gives me all the departments, which has made a very complex table, but I can easily simplify it if I remove department from here to filter. So now it gives me name, location, northeast, west, south, and the grand total. So this is something which we can use later to create a dashboard, because now if I want, I can get all the information within a, a click. Who all are working in Mumbai? Similarly, think of it from your database. Like for example, who all are working in which city of Tajikistan or Spain, and how much are they getting? And if you want to create a budget out of it, how will you create a budget out of it? This is like the grand total. This automatically gets created and it is very customizable. How we can customize it? I just need to shift. So for example, I have not used last name here. If I put last name in rows, so now this is giving me the last name as well, but this is not needed at the moment. So we just go with the first name. And if I want hire date, so this also gives me the hire date when the person was hired: 1987, 1982, 1990, 1988. So this way I can know which employee joined on which day and since how long the person is working. And this is something which pivot as a part of the pivot, it has already been created. So if I cross this and this, yes, yes. So I go to salary here, and yes. So the table looks very complex at times, and this has also given me a chart. Chart I can customize as per how I want it to be. And I can, for example, remove, yeah. So this is now a basic chart, which is of salary and names of people. And if I remove department from here, so yeah, it now again simplifies it. Or if I do department, so now this gives me the chart is, it's a very, now it's a very simple chart. Which which domain of my company is taking maximum amount of my expenses, my expenditure. For example, admin, I can see the total of admin. It is the sum of salaries is um, close to 1,48,000, which is in millions. It's 0.14 million. Similarly, for this is CCD again for director. So this gives director of the salary of the director directly. Similarly for finance, for marketing, for research and development, for sales. So these tables, and similarly the chart is created. So these tables can be created with any data. I can create it with one more data, but in case, and because I think it can be a little heavy once being taught at the first time. So anybody has any doubts here, I would not want to go too much because you will need some time to absorb it also. We can make one more pivot table. I have got the backup data, which we can use for creating another pivot data. Yes, but before that, anybody has any doubts? So, this is something that while I was preparing for today, I found some data for consumption data from Eurostat website for different countries. This is Austria. Then it's again a large data set. Croatia, Cyprus. Yes.
Excuse
Yes,
me,
Patricia.
Maxine.
Yes.
Is it possible to explain again how has you started with the pivot option? Because I have not this option in my Excel. Perhaps the students
Okay.
have it, but I don't know if I can.
Insert. Yes, yes. Press the insert button.
No, it is not in the insert option in our version. We have
Okay.
a power pivot option.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there we can
Maybe try power pivot.
yeah, administrar to add some data to renew data. I don't know. Graphic. I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps we have no this version.
Okay. So I can also, what I can try so that everybody is on the same page, I can try it on Google Sheet to everybody.
Okay, could be
Okay.
good
Yeah,
idea.
yeah. Yes, yes. I'll just transfer the data on a Google Sheet.
Thank you.
This is my data. Yes. So, yeah. So this is how I have my data. And now I want to insert. So there is an option. I hope the screen is visible with the data to everybody. Yes. So go to insert, and after going to insert, I can share this file also with you, with everybody, so that you can directly see this. Hmm. Yes. So I go to insert pivot table, and now there's an option to do it on a new sheet or an existing sheet. It is always better to do it on a new sheet. And as you can see, this is the range of data from A1 to H101. So it is covering till H101, and I go for create. Yes. So now, because it is Google, it is automatically suggesting me the options. Average of employee code for each department, count of first name, number of unique first name, last name. I don't go for that. And now what I do, I go for in rows, what do I want to have? So now I need to drag. So I will drag region to rows, or I can add from here. So yeah, this is the option. I go region. So after this, now in my column, I want to add salary. How much salary am I giving to each region, for example? Yes. So it is now right now giving me individual numbers. I don't want individual numbers. I say that I want branch. This is all the branches. Or in the region, instead of having this here, I do in my column, I add region. Yes, now I have north, east, west, south. In my row, I have salary, which will again give me for all the people individually. But I want to have it as per my department. So now in my columns, in my values, I will add salary. See, is this visible? Now I'm able to add salaries. I'm able to look at salaries for all the departments in northeast, west, south region. Now, if I want to add more values, for example, I want to add branch. So, right. So this is very customizable. We can make many different versions of it, and these different versions can be used as per our need. So yeah, now I have as per all the different cities. Calcutta, this much salary I'm giving for admin. Cuttack or Guwahati, Patna. This is all region wise. Like Delhi, this much we are giving in Delhi. For example, I'll add columns here so that it's more easily visible. Okay. Yes. So is this option? I think this should be available on your Google Sheet.
Okay, Maxis, thank you. Can you display the pivot option in your Excel? Because Andrea said that it is dynamic graphics in Spanish, and I'm not sure. I have to. I want to.
It
I
looks
am.
like this. Yes, yes.
Yes, dynamic graphics. Okay, thank you very much, Andrea. Okay.
This can be done in this, like, we can customize it as per the data that we have. Let me add first name. So now this has created columns for me. of names of people. That, for example, which person is getting how much salary. Let's say zoom out. Yes. Now you can see like this first name. So there are basically four main columns in pivot table. One is four main variables. One is rows. So I need to tell pivot table what do I want in my row. So as you can see, department. In my row, I have this department, all the departments. And in my columns, I want region. Region, east, west, east, north, south, west. These are the regions. Now, in my values, the numbers, when I say values, it means this part. I'll highlight it also so that everybody can see it. So I mean this part, which I've made in yellow. Like, what do I want in this? This is values. And this is filter. If I want to add a filter, for example, I want to add a filter of higher date. So it will show particularly if I say that I can search, for example, if I say clear all and I say particular. So now it only shows me for person who joined on 30th December 1997. This is a filter that I'm using in the pivot table. If I clear this and I remove this as my filter, so I again have all of this. In my rows, now if I add first name, so now again, this now shows me in admin department, the names of the persons and the region where they are. And I can even do it much more detailed if I add branch here. So now, because it's colored like that, so so now I can see which person in which office is having how much salary. I'll just remove this and zoom it in. Yes. So now I can see department admin department, name of the person, the office that they are working in, and their salary. Similarly, this department and all the departments with the names of the persons. So this is something which is very useful when we are working with, like, this was a very small data set that we used, only 100 cells. But if we are working on a large data set, for example, for a company, you need to tell how much salary you are giving in North region for admin. How much salary are we paying in North for admin? This table can directly tell me. For example, I go here and I have this number. I have the region East. I have region North. I go for total. This is North total. I know how much am I giving. I'm giving 15,750. This is the total that I know. This is for Wiki. The total is this much, 65,000. This is the total, which pivot is automatically giving me. So yes, this might look a little complex, but like I'm telling, if you try, it'll automatically come out. And if anybody wants to share their screen and show how they are doing it, you can we can discuss if you're facing problem in it. And please don't hesitate from asking questions, because if you don't ask questions, it'll be difficult for you to learn. And if you don't practice it in the class, it might look difficult after you practice it later. So
Yeah, we
please,
are
yes,
practicing, but we are little
yes,
slow, no?
yes, yes, yeah. If you are facing problem, would you like to show your screen? I can help you. Now I'm come to the basic data. I can complexify it as much as I want. It's very dynamic to use. Yes, so now we have come to the almost last minute of the class. So today we discussed all these topics. Yes, so today we discussed all these topics: conditional formatting, concatenate, pivot tables, flash fill. We could not discuss data validation because we'll discuss it in the next class, because we discussed other topics in detail like pivot table, which is a very important topic and something which you can use in future. And I wanted to show a database to everybody, which you can use for practice as an also as an assignment. So this is a file of movies. They were when they were released, the genre of those movies, like if they are crime, drama, musical, comedy, etc. Language, country, the rating, actor. So this is again a very good data set to practice on. And this through this practice you can work on your Excel skills with such data
And
sets for.
can you share it with us?
Yes, I will be. That is why I'm sharing this. I will be sharing it with everybody, and I will give some basic questions to everybody to perform through this data set.
Okay.
Yes. Like this is a budget thing, gross revenue, budget. We can calculate a lot of things with it. From with revenue and budget, we can calculate the profit of the movies. It's like just we apply this and put a minus here. Now we have entire profit and loss for all the movies within 10 seconds. Yeah.
Okay, maybe, I don't know, Patricia, we need to wrap up, no?
Yes.
Yes, I think we have to finish our session. I think it has been very useful and it has been understood very well. And besides, we have some homework to do with this file. So thank you very much, Baxis. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much, Belen. And well, you are going to share this file with us.
Yes, I will be sharing as well.
Okay. So thank you very much. Tomorrow we can follow on our skills in Excel. Yeah. And tomorrow at 10 in the morning here in Spain. I think which time is in India? 2:30. Okay, and in the other countries I can't. I don't know, but well, tomorrow in the morning here we will see again in this link. Okay.
Now, thank you,
Yes,
everyone, because actually everybody contributed to it, no? In the chat.
Yes. Yes. Thank you very much to everybody. And thank you very much, Baxis.
Yes, thank you. I hope you got to learn a lot today.
Sure.
Yeah, we did a lot.
Okay. See you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Should I stay for 2 minutes or?
As you want. I think you do you have something to comment or to?
I just wanted to comment that it's been very good that people can read what you are saying.
Sorry.
That is very good that people can read the captions.
The captions, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I really wanted that everybody, the effort that we are putting in, everybody should learn. So I tried to find the way where the language barrier can be
But in any
reduced.
case, as it's quite visual also, yeah, sometimes it's difficult to work and to listen, no? Both things at the
Mhm.
time. But and then we need to practice, but it's clear, no? I mean, it's you are opening at least the eyes to see, so that we can see where to go and how to. No, it's difficult to